All right, Shalom. I want to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rukakudash. I want to give double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. In grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. This is your fellow servant, Rokayer from the GMS Orlando camp. And tonight, I wanted to go into a brief lesson on the up-and-coming famine that's going to devastate the Americas, Babylon the Great, as well as some other topics, all right, such as the shift in buying and selling. All right, and tonight's lesson is inspired by this video I caught earlier today entitled Hoarding Sweeps Across America as People Rush to Stockpile Food at Local Supermarkets. And reason why I want to touch on this topic tonight is because famine is going to play a huge part in the prophecy of the MOTB coming to pass. All right, famine is a part of end time prophecy as well as the prophecy of the MOTB pursuant to Revelation 13 around the 16th verse. All right, now the reason why I say famine is going to play a huge part in the MOTB prophecy, all right, in the prophecy of the MOTB, is because food is a great motivator. All right, and as we know, pursuant to Revelation 13 and 16, the MOTB is going to be issued forth as a means of buying and selling. All right, and as buying and selling gets harder and harder as the days go by due to these different mandates, all right, due to these different strikes, all right, you have shortages on food. Now food is being rationed in these different supermarkets. All right, now you have basically a food crisis. Now you have basically food being weaponized, so to speak. All right, and food is a great motivator. When people are hungry, they make rash decisions. All right, they do whatever they can to satiate that hunger. All right, and in these up and coming days, we're going to see Esau Edom engineer a food crisis. All right, by the Lord. All right, sanctioned by the Lord Himself. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. He's going to sanction a food crisis in order to sway the people into receiving the MOTB. All right, and this is very huge. All right, there's nothing like this that has ever before been seen upon the earth. All right, we're witnessing an engineered famine. All right, we're witnessing a shift in society. We're witnessing a shift in buying and selling. All right, we're witnessing a shift in the monetary system. All right, which all plays a part in end time prophecy. All right, which is why it's important to pay attention to prophecy. All right, to measure the times diligently, like the scriptures tell us to do. All right, matter of fact, let's go ahead and start off with that scripture. All right, this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 9. And verse 1, it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which He made. All right, and now through diligent watching, all right, which the way that we measure the times, the way that we measure the times diligently, all right, is by the prophecies. All right, that's our spiritual ruler. That's our spiritual measuring stick, so to speak. All right, and by us measuring the times, we can tell that the Lord is starting to visit the world in which He made. All right, there's earthquakes in diverse places. All right, the love of many is waxing cold. There's been wars and rumors of wars, uproars of the people. All right, pestilences. Okay, famines. All right, on the horizon. All right, many false anointings popping up. All right, false preachers, false teachers. Okay, all signs that the Lord left behind for His men to watch for. All right, regarding His second return. All right, when He's about to make His second return. All right, so in seeing all these things, we know that the Lord is getting ready to make His second return and tear down this kingdom. All right, and uplift the kingdom of heaven, which is contained within you Israelites. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and American Indians. All right, the kingdom of heaven is within you. All right, and the Lord is coming to redeem His elect. All right, and set up His kingdom on the earth. All right, but nevertheless, all right, as we started off with that scripture, I want to go into this video. We're going to play a couple of minutes of it. And after that, we're going to grab a couple more scriptures, and then we'll close it out. All right, Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. But the whole point of tonight's lesson, all right, being the famine, all right, the up-and-coming famine that is going to devastate the Americas, all right, it's going to devastate America, Babylon the Great, all right, and the only way out of this up-and-coming famine is through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, All right, you have all these preppers, which the video is going to speak on. All right, you have all these preppers and all these people who foresee, the evil's coming. All right, but they don't have the truth. They don't have the answers. All right, they don't have the solution like we do through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. See, a lot of people think that they're going to hoard up all this food and go ahead and get all these canned goods and all these non-perishable items. And in the day, when famine actually hits, they're going to be straight for a couple of years. When in fact, the neighbors are watching them. All right, the Lord is watching them. And just as sure as they're bringing those canned goods into their house, the neighbors is watching. All right, and when that time comes, they're going to kick down that door. Just like the prophecy says, man. Or the Lord may have it to where the all hell breaks loose while they at their job or while they on vacation where they can't get to them canned goods, man. All right, so the only real solution, all right, to these evils coming upon the earth is through Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, because no matter where we're at, all right, what predicament we find ourselves in, the Lord is going to be the way out for his elect. Lord willing, we be of that number. All right, no matter what the circumstance. Why? Because the Lord is capable of anything, and that's what we're learning. All right, through this time of grace and through this time of liberty, that the Lord is capable of any and everything. All right, and that the Lord is dealing with us on a personal level. All right, to the fact that he'll come through for us like he's always been coming through for us. All right, and these are the lessons that we're learning. And this is why it's important to apply the scriptures. All right, and to gain that experience, to know for yourself that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is a man of his word. All right, and that he's going to come through for you personally. All right, in these times that we're entering into. But let's get into this video. All right.
Once they were allowed to get out and go shopping again, they started to buy extra items and stock them so they could be ready in case they had to face an extreme situation. Previously referred to as survivalists who wanted to live off the grid. Now, those who decide to arrange their lives for any potential disaster are called preppers. And this group is much bigger than we can imagine. They were commonly portrayed as isolated individuals and loners, but in actuality, they can be everyday folks. Now there's a lot to discuss today, so don't forget to leave a thumbs up in this video and subscribe. The shortages and supply chain disruptions we had to face over the past years led many people to realize that the system is much more vulnerable than it appears. And from that point on, consumer psychology radically changed. Most Americans have never dealt with such extensive shortages and sharp price hikes in their entire lives. They weren't used to buying in bulk because they assumed goods would always be available at the stores.
And that's a part of prophecy. All right, let's get that in 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 21. It reads, "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." All right, and all the while these people thought that, food was going to be in abundance. All right, now it's coming to light. All right, that's not the case. All right, that great evils and famine and great confusion was growing in the midst. All right. It's beautiful, man. All right, these scriptures are beautiful because they give us a forewarning. They give us a foresight on the things that are coming upon the earth. All right, the Lord said these things will happen. The Lord said that victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And the world thought they were in a good case until the Lord sanctioned for this pandemic to happen. Then everything started to come to light. All right, now things are starting to change, and now people are starting to realize that this ain't Candyland like they thought it was. All right, this ain't the yellow brick road. This ain't the kingdom of heaven. All right, this is hell. All right. Now people are starting to realize the truth. Now people are starting to be shooken into reality. All right, and as they're being shooken into reality, they're realizing that everything they thought America was is not so. It truly was an American dream, an American nightmare, so to speak, man. But let's see. Let's hit this one more time.
They weren't used to buying in bulk because they assumed goods would always be available at the stores. Needless to say, those times are long gone. Now, Prepping is becoming increasingly more common as supply chain problems continue to compound and food inflation spins out of control.
And food inflation truly is spinning out of control. Down here in Florida, all right, you have certain restaurants that me and Akim used to go to that are hiking up their food prices. All right, a little Benjamite spot that me and Akim used to frequent. Their prices went from $10 to $15, $18, just overnight due to this inflation due to inflation. All right, and a lot of people can't afford that because the minimum wage down here, I believe, is $12 or $15, something like that. People can't afford that type of meal. All right, people can't afford to buy these. People can't afford to live, their quote unquote normal life anymore. All right, it's getting harder and harder to maintain normal life. All right, because the prices are being jacked up. All right, things are becoming more and more expensive. Even the price of gas. All right, everything is being hiked up, man. All right, people are being driven into a lower state. All right, people are being forced into a lower state, which is ultimately why all hell is going to break loose in America as well. All right, because people are being forced into a baser state. People are being forced into a lower state, due to the wet dream of these elites, man. But let's get into it.
The average American had to confront a harsh reality. Be prepared or be hungry. The health crisis was definitely a wake-up call for tens of millions of consumers who finally could see with their own eyes that neither the government nor big corporations would come to their rescue and help them when things start to fall apart.
And one thing that this pandemic has done, all right, is open the eyes of millions. All right, like it says in Daniel's 12th chapter. All right, that knowledge shall increase. All right, and since this whole pestilence hit, all right, knowledge has been increasing. All right, and people have been starting to wake up to the truth of the matter. All right, to the truth of not only the scriptures but what's going on in the world. All right, and they're starting to see that this whole place was a mirage. All right, everything that they've banked their life on has been a lie. All right, this is Daniel 12:4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. All right, and as we're approaching the time of the end, all right, the end of this empire, the end of this era, all right, not the end of the world, all right, not the end of the earth, okay, the end of this era, okay, the end of this rulership of Esau, Edom, who is the so-called white man. All right, and as we approach the end of this era, okay, the end, knowledge is starting to increase. Faith is starting to flourish. All right, and now the truth, all right, everything that was done in darkness is now being brought to light, and people are now able to see what was going on behind the scenes. And now they're being confronted with reality, and reality sucks. All right, but let's see.
Most of our so-called leaders were nowhere to be found at the peak of the outbreak in 2020, when people started to panic buy food, wipe out supermarket shelves at record speed, and fight over toilet paper in a frenzy unlike anything we've ever seen. And I'm
going to leave it right here. All right, if you want to watch the rest of the video, all right, you see the title right here. But we're just going to grab these precepts and then we'll close it out. All right, we're going to go back to 2nd Esdras 16. We're going to start up at verse 17. It says, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, and we're just in the beginning. All right, the Lord is just starting to get warmed up. All right, this ain't nothing. All right, a real famine is going to hit where there ain't going to be no food. All right, a real pestilence is going to hit where people are going to be dying by the hundreds, the thousands. All right, real evils are going to hit upon the earth. Real death is getting ready to befall the earth. All right, this is just the beginning. All right, this is just the beginning. And that's why it's important for us, or the hopeful elect, to start this preparation now. Start this spiritual preparation now. All right, coming into this truth and sincerity. All right, reforming your life. All right, living according to the standard that the Lord upheld. All right, that the Lord set up. All right, doing the work. You know, doing what the Lord told us to do. This is why it's important to do these things now, so that when true game time comes, we're ready. You know, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, all these things have been sent upon the earth as for a way to people to see, you know, to experience and amend their ways, to consider their ways. All right, to consider what's bringing this, why these things are happening, you know, to start asking questions. And as they start asking the questions, all right, the Lord starts supping with them. All right, it's meant for them to amend their ways. But people see these things and they don't amend their ways. They see these things and dive even deeper into wickedness. They dive even deeper into ignorance. They put it off even more and more. All right, which is why it has to be a mercy killing here in these latter days, man. All right, because these people just won't get right. All right, they're unreformable. All right, they're unhospitable. They're how you say for lack of a better word, trying to think when what they call jakes when they go to the prison system, and it's a term they deem them when they can't go back to society. But nevertheless, all right, it says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. All right, and these are the times that we're coming into. All right, the majority of people on this earth are going to perish of famine, the up and coming famine. All right, and not only the famine of bread, but also the famine of the word. All right, a lot of people are going to perish from that as well, because they've been taking this time of liberty for a joke. They've been taking this ministry for a joke, when these were the true this was the true meat. You know, this was the true bread. All right, this is the way that we would fill ourselves through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai for the times to come. But it says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. All right, let's grab 2 Esdras 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, so all the while you have these preppers, all right, who think that by stockpiling all this food and stockpiling all these goods, it's going to do them any good. All right, when the time comes, they door going to get broken into. And all them guns that they hoarding, they going to jam up. All right, all the food that they've been hoarding is going to get eaten up. All right, by these hungry mobs, man. All right, by these neighbors that's been watching them prep. And some of these preparations are going to be for the men of the Lord. All right, they're going to prep all these food, all this abundance, you know, all this food, all these resources for the men of the Lord to reap. Yeah, man, we can live into some beautiful times, man. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Hold on. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods for the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right. And these are the times that we're coming into, man. All right. America's done. All right. As you've seen in the clip that played before this, all right, Benjamin. All right. Babylon is falling, and they really don't know. All right. They really don't know. They're falling like lightning, man. All right, this place is on a swift decline. All right, they think that they engineering these things to help bring in their NWO, when in reality, they engineering their own destruction, and it's beautiful. All right, so we're going to close out on this. Because although all these things are coming upon the earth, all right, the Lord has the back of his elect. All right, the Lord is going to be that rock of offense, all right, and rock of defense for his elect, man. All right, let me see. This is Job chapter 5 and verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shalt not sin. All right, so the Lord is going to deliver his elect through 7 troubles, man, through all the troubles coming upon the earth. The Lord is going to deliver his elect, and that's something that you always have to keep in mind. All right, it's something that you always have to meditate on. All right, you have to expect the victory and the aid coming from the Almighty. Expect these things, all right, because they're coming. All right, they're coming. And what if they come for you? You know, these things that's coming upon the earth aren't for the righteous. They're for the wicked. Just the same reason the flood came is the same reason these great tribulations are coming, to destroy the wicked, all right, to purge the wicked, all right, and to give root to the righteous. So although these things are coming upon the earth, we have hope. We have hope. We have comfort through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And these are the things to keep in mind, especially in these days to come. All right. Continue to prep spiritually. All right. Now, it's all right to get a couple of canned goods, you know. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But the bulk of our preparation is to be spiritually. All right. And mentally. The Lord will handle our physical, departure when he returns. But right now, it's important for us to prepare mentally and spiritually. All right. For the things coming upon the earth. All right. And for the Lord's return. So with that being said, that's all I had to say. All right. Shalom.